our most lane-dominant mid laner in the league, has had an incredible laning phase here, and that's something that EG, I think, is going to rely on if they're going to get a foot in this series.
Right, taking away the ability to have that snowballing champion that can really take a lane lead and turn it into leads elsewhere on the map really hurts his ability to carry from that lane position.
And I really wonder, are they going to go all in on early game? Are they going to try to play 5v5? When I think of this team, I think of Inspired and JoJo, the guys who want to go more aggressive early on. When I think of Danny, Vulcan, Impact, I think more of the team fighting ability from this squad. So I'm curious to see where they're going to index. If you want to go early, LeBlanc is banned out, but there's still the possibility to go towards something like Syndra, which JoJo has been extremely strong on. You can look towards Syndra. Lee is a very dominant mid-jungle duo. On the other side, it already feels like late game security for Hansama. It's not a guy to make a lot of mistakes. And they're already looking towards scaling.
Yeah, I mean, Jinx has been in this meta for a while now. They're going to make sure she stays there. She's back here for Team Liquid in game number 1. Now, Ahri picked up for Bjergsen here. Very early pick on the mid lane.
Yeah, Ahri has actually been getting banned out quite a lot against Bjergsen. In the last couple weeks, he did play it 3 times, looked really strong on it, carrying a couple of those games. And after he started to bring it out, people had started to ban it out, especially in phase 2, 4-pick ban. So if you want to get it, he's going to have to be willing to early pick. We'll see if JoJo's going to grab his answer here. That would be the expected response. Right. Get your counter pick mid before some of those options are banned out. Xayah going to be grabbed up here for Danny, so it does look like it's more towards team fighting. Yeah. And you have to decide, what are you going to go for as the answer?
Ooh, hovering Bjergsen's trademark pick against him.
I don't think you do Bjergsen's pick against Bjergsen, but we'll see.
No, I don't think that's the sauce at all, but there's your sauce, baby. Some Akali locked in.
So this is interesting because I'm not certain that it is actually going to be mid. It definitely could, but this is one of the AP tops that Impact actually likes to play quite a lot himself. There is only the one game from JoJo so far this year. Impact has actually played it 3 times, so it is a flex from EG. They're trying to hide where things are going, and that will help him in the next round of bans because
I like that a lot.
TL won't be certain which this goes to. If you think, hey, this is going mid, you throw down a couple mid lane bans, well, JoJo can just play that and kind of nullify what you've put in that second round. Tom Kench should be heading down to support for core. A little bit of safety there for Hans. Also a very lane dominant against a lot of the engaged supports. So if you wanted to go towards something like a Leona and really scrap, if you engage, Tom Kench really does win out in a lot of those skirmishes. And post 6, as we all know, it's that safety for Jinx against what they are already drafting here. Akali Lee Sin, it's a threatening dive. Yeah, that's the safety that Hans will need to be able to take over in team fights.
Well, as we get into our second part of the bans here, Team Liquid is not looking at those solo lanes, but instead looking at what could win EG those late game fights. We're talking about Vulcan flanks. We're talking about big engages. That conversation always brings up the word Rakan, and that'll be banned away. EG gonna throw a gangplank ban up there over at Bwipo, keep him off of the Pirate.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. It has been something that Bwipo has been going to more. I love that poster,
That's such a good sign. The fact that it's 2 posters to make it wide,
it's got to get wider after every game,
Yeah,
make
exactly. You have to have more. Every time Liquid wins a game, you make it wider. Every time they lose, you tear part of it off.
We'll see how big it'll get, but Bwipo has been going to the GP quite a lot in his counter picks for top, right? And Impact is a guy that likes to play a lot of these champions that can sometimes be answered by the GP. Leona going to get banned out. That's another one of those priority engages that I did mention. So Nautilus, Leona, Rakan, all taken off the table. EG will have to find either engage from somewhere besides the support, or they'll have to go down the tier list a little bit to something like an Alistar.
Yep.
We'll see if they're going to be willing to do that. I also just like banning out support here from TL because, as we said, we don't know where the Akali is going. So those solo lane bans could end up being wasted. And Bwipo is going to have counter pick anyway, so he can respond. You don't need to spend the bans on the solo lane to protect his pick. Very likely we'll get jungle here on 4. Bwipo should be pick on 5.
We know Bwipo can play Viego. He's opted to do it before, but this is also a champion Santorin's been putting a lot of reps on. I expect this to be the jungler 100%. Give Bwipo that counter pick. Reveal where the Akali is going to go. You mentioned the Alistar just a moment ago talking about the engaged
It's next
supports.
on the engaged tier list, right? If you need to get engaged from that role, you can go towards it. If you do go Yuumi, I actually think it's pretty viable here. It can be a really strong pairing with the Akali. That is very powerful dive. It is going to mean, as people not loving the Yuumi, it's going to mean a lot of scaling, right? That is kind of looking towards that, but they're very light on engage. So I do think we might need to see something like a tank blind here from Impact to give them the ability to start up fights, because this is what EG has struggled with a lot in their drafting, is finding a well-balanced composition that can actually create action. it is going to be blind Gnar. So yes, kind of like pseudo-engage, but really it's more of the flanking, it's more of the following up. They don't have any sort of hard engage, so I do think there's pressure on EG to be playing from an advantage. Similarly, though, on the other side, TL doesn't have any sort of hard engage themselves, so it's a lot more skirmishing. And these types of comps then generally come down to who is winning early, who is actually having first move towards these objectives.
Well,
Warren would give you the engage, and this secures your late game.
There you go.
You were looking for 5v5, and that is going to be the read here for TL. All they have to do then is really mitigate loss early on. You're trying to stop the bleeding early here, really make sure that your team is set up for success in those later stages, and it's going to be the pressure on EG to get stuff done, I feel, here early on. Even though they do have really good scaling with the Xayah and the Yuumi, it's tough for them to start out fights.
I mean, yeah, it's tough to start off the fight. You're talking about scaling, but you're not going to hard out scale a comp that has Ornn and has a Jinx to it. We've seen what... Crowd's loving it, man. Team Liquid's fans roar to life. They are expecting a dominant show out of the favored team here today. And Team Liquid is ready to rock and roll. Bwipo there with the Summoner Spellbook, Ornn in the top side. Everything else pretty standard. Electrocute on the Ahri there for Bjergsen. You already mentioned the Hail of Blades for the Tahm Kench, so I'm curious just how aggressively Team Liquid's bottom lane duo is going to play.
Yeah, it is really interesting. I mean, you get those 3 quick autos that allows you to prep the stun or the offensive Devour even post 6, so definitely an interesting look here. Nothing too crazy going on with the early level 1. Both people going for a little bit of early warding. We can see the ward on the Raptor pit there, trying to track Inspired through these early levels. And Danny playing it pretty far back, wants to show that respect over to the TL bot lane for any potential invade. Yeah, we're not a lot about the push here.
We're not getting any of those early 5-man death ball invades. Just roll through and see if you might be able to find anybody. Everybody's content to play the vision game here nice and early. Going back to what you said during the pause, Inspired needs to be able to make something happen here early on the Lee Sin. You want to see him be able to get these lanes ahead, but the desk was talking about it's tough, man. Speaking said Lee Sin's job is not very fun.
Oh, they spotted him, but they can't walk up. They actually can't walk up right now, so he's going to have to just play for the Q for XP and just trying to CS from max range here. They're going for a W start. Hail of Blades!
There they go, baby. Core JJ jumps right on in, but it's Hans Sama taking the worst of it. Danny's still looking to find a little bit more here, but now we're all going to back away. Honestly, EG came out fine in that.
They did. Hans actually takes a much worse end of this because when you're playing against Yuumi, once you get to level 2, you get the heal up, you start to really get that sustain going. Of course, it is Biscuits, then a 3-pot start here for Hans, so he will be okay for now. But TL trying to go for a really aggressive start to that game. They do get the flash off of Danny. That's the key difference. Yes, health-wise, EG came out fine, but you're down flash now onto him against a support that can look to engage on you. You're not going to have an answer, especially if they are pushing away from their tower. If Santorin gets down here, this is something that could be punished.
That's what they're going to look for. Core JJ starting off with the W. Hans Sama, getting poked down there as Danny brings back those feathers, hitting level 2. Up here in top side, Impact will have Bwipo pushed back, and that's pretty much going to be the way this lane looks like until it's over.
Exactly. And I mean, it's one of those things where occasionally you can have kill threat as the Ornn, when you do play Spellbook and you get Ignite post 6.
Swap to Ignite.
If he gets to Mini, then, and he's kind of getting chipped down a little bit by Qmax. There is potential there, but mostly you're kind of just chilling and waiting. Santorin, though, they're calling him down here. They're going to look for the W in, and there's no flash on Danny.
Core JJ already throwing him up into the air, but Danny takes essentially no damage. Okay, Santorin just appeared through there. Hallowed Mist coming down. TL's ready to try to make their move right now. Core JJ is going to tank the aggro. Vulcan coming out, going right back in. Evil Geniuses stays alive. They're doing just fine under TL's pressure.
The TP got canceled as well. Their Impact trying to TP down to bot side. Bwipo actually cancels that. But in the 2v2, they're getting dangerously low here. Hansa's got to be careful. Another QE plus 1 auto from Danny could actually kill him. So TL going to have to pay respect to that. They are going to have to back it up.
TL's flexing those muscles, man, but they might be pushing too much weight. Evil Geniuses is ready for him.
Yeah, that was actually very well played by Vulcan, detaching, soaking as much damage as he could there, with the passive, getting some mana back as well. And TL faked the recall, so they actually backed it up, faked the recall here. EG thought they could have a freeze on bot side. Vulcan thankfully has stayed around, so he can try to hold this. He can try to pull it up towards Try, and Inspired is pathing down, so He will be able to tank this wave for a bit, but you do not have a ton of health here. So he's holding it. Danny won't miss any of the farm at the very least. But thankfully for TL, they get the reset. And look how much better the buy is going to be, because when he goes back to base, Hansama had 33 CS. On the buy for Danny, only 18.
Inspired's looking for Bjergsen here in mid lane. Charm's not going to find anything. Flash coming out from Bjerg, but it's Jojo Pyun underneath the tier 1 for first blood. Santorin will get nothing in return, and EG strikes first.
It is Jojo getting the first blood. He's not going to be first blooded here in game number 1. Inspired and Jojo getting aggressive there. Bjergsen not able to connect the charm onto Inspired on his Q. That was the critical thing there. Not able to connect on that. Will TP back and push in this wave. We can watch this one more time. Inspired should have been spotted here. Did Bjergsen just kind of think that he was safe? Or was the ward? The ward was misplaced. It didn't catch the edge of that path. So Inspired goes the long way around here. Bjergsen didn't see him coming. Now let's track this charm, because it's really all about that. A little bit too slow there from Bjergsen. I'm not sure if it was cooldown or he didn't expect Inspired to take it immediately, but look at Inspired tanking the tower, takes all 3 shots, then Jojo flashes over the wall. Inspired equal to the task. They're flashing out on the flash stun from Santorin. Great stuff here from EG, and now Inspired ghosting them on the bot lane, expecting a potential gank, and here comes that gank, and Inspired will be ready for it.
They're already ready to go. Danny's backing away. Vulcan soaks the damage. Core's going to be taken low, but so is Danny. He tries to walk it off. Santorin in hot pursuit, and Danny is down. Hansama's on the board, and Team Liquid strike next.
Even with the counter gank ready there, they can't actually do anything about it. Danny didn't have the flash. He got connected by that knock up there from the Tahm Kench, and with the Hail of Blades and the Ignite, it's enough to knock him down. Hansama committing both his summoners to chase him down to get the kill. TL get their Jinx rolling. Plus 20 CS nearly and a kill. Danny is way down now in this lane.
It is feeling bad for the bottom lane. Let's take another look at how they set it up, because EG, they had the read, but Team Liquid played it better.
They had the read, but when the knockup lands, how much can you do? He's not able to actually sidestep it there. Look how much damage he takes before he's really able to return any fire. It's a good job actually blocking out the stuns. By Inspired and Vulcan, they're trying to block as much as they can. But with the Halo Blade autos, with the Ignite on him early on, they pile in, they get the damage down. Hans flashes forward, use the heal for the move speed, connects with Danny, and he falls. Danny's got the summoners now, but it's looking rough on that bot side. Inspired gonna move back up towards top and try to contest this red here, potentially.
I mean, look at the item difference between the 80 carries right now. Brutal. 2 longswords and a tier versus Noon Quiver pickaxe. That's not even playing the same game.
Yeah, it's really, really rough. And when you're in that kind of situation, you've got to rely purely on poke, right? You've got to rely on the QE poke there, from the Xayah, on the prowling projectiles just constantly from Vulcan, who has been actually really good at tagging Hans with them almost every single time. So they are kind of whittling down Hans. He has 1 biscuit in inventory, no more potions. So you're looking less for an all-in and more just to poke him out and try to push him out of the lane, and awkward timing here. Another projectile does connect there, so slowly whittling him down.
Core JJ will continue to posture as aggressively as he can to make sure that Hans is not completely forced off of that wave. Now, Hans was going for a recall in the brush.
They got it.
That's going to be interrupted. Nicely done there from EG to waste a little bit more of his time. Santorin's ready to go up here in top side. The Ornn horn has been sounded, and Santorin has arrived. Bwippo picks up a kill.
With impact, he jumped in at the worst possible timing and jumps forward, and you see the jungler there, you just accept your death. You know you're gone. Without the hop, there's no way out for impact. He wanted to reset the wave. He was in Mega, so he's going to jump forward and ult the Ornn plus the wave to get the shove there. But Santorin has the perfect timing. And when Bwippo with the read there, able to prevent it, get another kill for TL. Things looking really good. Only down 3 CS on the top side, plus you're up that kill. It's looking incredible for TL in the early stages. And if they are to win this series, whoever does win this series will at least lock an appearance in Houston.
And this squad, man, both these teams actually, the junglers have been doing a good job early on. They're both active. They're both making good reads on where they need to be. And it's Evil Geniuses who are going to go after this Rift Herald. There's still no Drakes taken. That first one's still chilling down there in the bottom side river. So this is the first neutral objective. They're going to have the entirety of the timer to get turret plates with. Where do you want to see this dropped?
We'll have to see. I mean, I think you probably want to go through mid with it. You know, try to get JoJo as much gold as possible. I feel like he's going to be your kind of major win condition. The Akali plus the Yuumi pairing with bot lane not going well, with top lane not going particularly well. It feels like a lot of the onus is going to be on JoJo and Vulcan with that combo to try to make something happen. But do you think you have options if anywhere you can get a kill? You can try to go for a full tower potentially with that Herald, which would be really, really nice because clearly they're not focusing on dragons. They're trying to establish a gold lead here early on, you know, spend their time for that. But it hasn't amounted to much of anything yet. In fact, they are behind still off those kills.
Well, Danny having his serrated Dirk now is at least going to help out that poke versus all-in potential of the bottom lane trading pattern, but Impact just keeps throwing them boomerangs into Bwipo over and over and over again. Bwipo's been doing a perfectly fine job keeping up in farm, though. He's down about a wave, but in an Ornn versus Gnar matchup, that's
who cares? Okay. Exactly. It's not your job to be lane dominant. It's more your job to protect your tower, to be able to kind of just, you know, stay relevant so you're not getting run over in this matchup, and he's not anywhere close to that. Has the ultimate available again here, so there is potential to try to get aggressive here on Impact once more. Santorin is pathing up towards that top side, so TL might want to look for a play. It would be a little bit difficult with the Mega there, but he's trying to clear out the wave here, and Impact getting a little bit spicy. He has no leap now, so now you could potentially look. When he goes back into Mini, if Santorin wraps around right on Mini, you ult from the Ornn, and I think they get this kill, and that's what they're looking for. Notice how Santorin is waiting for that out. Now he goes with the Tri-Brush down. He's trying to threaten, but not going to commit to it.
All right, Impact's able to back away. They would be too hard of a force. They know that Impact still has the flash up, so they didn't want to overexert themselves there. Evil Geniuses, however, seeing that the Team Liquid jungler is on the other side of the map, take the opportunity to grab that first Drake. 11-minute first dragon is pretty slow, so it's not like there's going to be a soul rush this game, even if they maintain control over the next one or two. But it is something that Team Liquid doesn't claim. And for Evil Geniuses, when you're talking about wanting to play from ahead, wanting to make sure you're coming into these fights from a position of strength, everything you keep away from Team Liquid is a plus.
Absolutely. I mean, they've grabbed both the neutral objectives. Nice little charm there. Chunks JoJo down here pretty low, but is playing a fairly defensive setup, so should be all right. You know, he's playing second win. We see that in almost all the tough matchups these days, as people are finally learning second win is just kind of a lot more powerful than bone plating as far as the value it gets you. You know, already JoJo has healed, you know, nearly 600, 591 from his second win. You know,
4 extra potions.
4 extra potions, right? You know, just from this secondary rune is incredibly powerful. Up towards the top side, looks like they're going to Herald here, as Impact has already whittled this down a bit. You get that Demolish proc and you drop Herald.
Ooh, and they get the flash out of Bwipo there, too. So, yep, here comes your Herald. This is not going to kill the turret, but it will take it incredibly low. Yeah, it'll take it down to about half a plate. Ooh. Let's see, there's your charge. Kaboom! All right, but they're not done. Impact might be under some pressure here. Bwipo knocking him up into the air, just clearing out the wave with that ulti more than anything. Does not want to allow them to take the turret, just like you were talking about earlier.
Exactly, that's what it's for. It might look silly. It's like, well, you're not going to kill him there. No, he's actually just trying to clear the wave. Inspired arrives, but now you can't really look for any sort of a dive. And notice how he's actually spellbooked over towards heal.
Yep.
So that would be incredibly difficult to actually pull off anything here. I don't think that they will look for it. The last plate of a tower, even though it does look low, it's so tanky, so it's actually deceptively difficult to knock down, so they can't actually do it in his face. He even upgrades the tabbies there, clears out the wave, A-OK.
Yep.
Will take some damage, but you can reset potentially on the next cannon wave, and Bwipo doing a great job holding on. While down towards the bottom side, they're losing plates to Hans. Hans had an earlier interrupt on the recall from Vulcan and Danny that I think was pipped up. You know, with his ultimate, as people playing Jinx have been doing that a lot more, just using it to interrupt recalls, using the ultimate for scouting early on. You don't need to hold on to it if you're not planning on having a major fight. So interrupts their tempo there, stopping the recall, gets the push in. They get plates bot, which is honestly just way more valuable than the plates are top. Yeah. When you look at the position Impact is in this game, he's not ahead enough that I feel like, you know, they're really going to get incredible value from those plates, whereas Kraken's already done on the bot side.
Oh, Bwipo jumped in there. Impact's looking for a little bit more damage on him. Goes for the wallop, but he won't find it. Impact still trying to maintain the pressure, but now Santorin has joined the fray. Impact still in mega form, still has his ultimate ready to use as well. So Team Liquid is not going to try to jump in on this. Inspired's here, but he's on top of a ward. Han's now going to walk over a ward as well, and as EG see they're outnumbered 3-2, they back away.
Yep, they're going to have to back it up. It looks like TL's calling in for the swap. They want to defend their top tier 1 to try to prevent EG from getting the first tower there. So they move their bot towards top. They'll be able to push in here, knowing that they have Prio in the 2v2. There's no way that Impact is going to be able to finish this off by himself. You could go for that, but that's a risky play because Jinx is very fed and everything is up. Jojo going aggressive.
Jojo, he was looking for it there on Bjerg. Not quite enough damage to be able to take him down to a threshold where he could go for a big execution. So Jojo ends up spending the ulti there for not a kill, which is a sigh of relief whenever you're playing against Akali.
Yep, just trading the ultis, but I do think that benefits Bjergsen more. Bjergsen just needs to continue pushing him in. Danny now on this top side. They waited so long. There's 4 EG up here. They waited all that time for that this whole time in the brush. Inspired waiting with Impact to try to make a play happen. They may lose bot tower just to the Ornn. Ornn's going to be down there bonking away.
Plates are
Slow
gone.
and steady wins the race. You don't need to be fast when nobody's there.
Bump. Hey, there it is. We got it. First turn of the game goes over to Whippo and Team Liquid, who are currently commanding a 2,000 gold lead. But I'm willing to tell you about 75% of that is AD carry diff. When the gold was up on your screen earlier, you saw that Hans Sama, thank you so much, observers. Hans Sama is a BF sword above his opponent, and that is nothing to scoff at 15 minutes into the game.
Yeah, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. You know, Danny will be able to be pretty strong as far as the burst he is bringing out. You know, with this lethality build, if you can connect with enough feathers, that is pretty devastating. But TL, you know, it's one of those games where they're just running away with it early through superior early game play. This has been a problem for EG, is they draft a lot of compositions that depend on early game dominance, and against the top teams, they have not been able to dominate early. They're 0-6 against the other upper bracket teams in the regular season, and TL is securing the late game for them. So if you're on EG's side, you got to be sweating already. You got to be feeling like you need to make something happen. But TL have done an excellent job playing around these looks that EG are going for, warding them out, tracking the enemy jungle, and always being there to answer.
And Team Liquid have responded to the first Rift Trail that was taken by EG by grabbing the second one for themselves. But now EG's coming in to try to stop Santorin as he goes for the second Drake of the game. EG were also first to that neutral objective the first time around. Whippo coming in now. The Ornn Horn is ready if Team Liquid decide they want to try to go for a fight. Jojo is up in the top lane. He has an Unleashed teleport to join up if need be. Inspired going to tag the Drake there with the Sonic Wave. Team Liquid going right back into the Drake pit. They want to go for the objective. They don't want to give EG a 2-0 Drake start.
They can fight now.
There it is. Whippo's going to continue leading the charge. Here comes your Ornn Horn, throwing it out towards the Xayah, forcing out the ulti there. Danny's going to come right on back down. Impact loses half his health to 3 rockets. Team Liquid is not going to get any kills there, but they got the objective, and that's what they came for.
Yep, they got the objective, so any chance of a soul stack is so pushed back. I mean, the first dragon there wasn't grabbed till about 11 minutes anyway, and now Jojo going to get found out. We'll see if he can escape. Looks like he will.
He's a collie.
There's no secondary member behind him, so going to be able to go in the shroud, get out, no problem. They do at least, you know, get some farm there for the Akali. They get the solo tower gold for the Akali as well off that tier 1. And I talked about it earlier, but really the hope for this game is Jojo. You know, there's not any natural exhaust. Whippo is sitting on one from Spellbook, but you're not going to have that up for every fight. But it's going to be up to Whippo to kind of use that at a really appropriate timing. We'll see how long he wants to hold on to it, if he wants to save it, you know, for a long time for a key fight, maybe in the next dragon. Because if you can shut down Jojo and win that next fight heavily, it feels like the game is almost yours.
Yeah, Jojo with Vulcan attached to him, just going on a montage rampage through a team fight, assassinating both the carries, taking care of Santorin. I mean, yeah, it's not going to be easy for Akali to assassinate Tahm Kench or Ornn, but the goal is to get everybody else, and then those two don't matter.
I mean, even if you can just get one, like if you can start the fight by killing off Hans, it's winnable, right? It's winnable after that, but it's going to be a very difficult thing to try to pull off. Inspired here trying to threaten on the side as TL do crash the Herald here mid. Almost able to get that mid tower down, but not wanting to overextend, and it's just kind of 1-3-1 right now for EG. You know, pushing out the sides here. You can see Akali and Gnar out towards those side lanes. You're trying to get some work done, shoving up these waves. But the big problem is, you look at these areas. There's no EG wards in any of these jungle, like nothing.
Nope.
So they don't really have a lot of safety. It's like, yeah, you want to play through sides and shove up, but like, as soon as someone goes missing, you've got no idea where they are, and you have to play with respect to that, which makes it difficult to actually get a lot done, besides just shoving in the wave and basing.
Also, worth keeping track of Ornn's levels. At level 12, he's getting dangerously close to where he can start upgrading upgrading all of those items, those mythic items to their stronger components for himself and his team, which means just more power that's not reflected by the gold lead itself would be going over to TL. So the clock continues working against the evil geniuses. You can see, though, that at least the Proto Belt's done for the Akali, has the Blighting Jewel in the inventory as well to be able to get some of that magic penetration there, because you're going to need some. There's MR being built on the side of Team Liquid. They recognize the Akali win condition. It's a Hex Drink or second for the Viego.
Yep, absolutely. And of course, every tank mythic has MR on it as well. So they are going to pay respect to that. Core are very likely going to be just going for a locket, you know, to be able to kind of have that additional safety of it.
Yep.
And 13 already ticked there for Bwipo, so the first upgrade does come through. The Rhymeforge Grasp is in, and EG just trying to establish vision, trying to find a way in. But I'm curious to see when they're going to actually try to make their stamp on this game, when they're going to try to decide to look for a fight. Because you can't just give too much time over. It's already 2 items for Hans, and I feel like if you haven't made anything happen by the time he hits 3, it's lights out.
Well, here comes Core and Hans, and there goes Impact, juggled around like a side act at the circus from the knock-ups, and Team Liquid's getting paid again.
Knocked up, rooted down, going to be a scouting ultimate over to Baron. Make sure there's no sort of counter Baron there. Hans sees they are scot-free there. Knocking down the tier 2 as well. Again, TL giving him that solo gold, solo XP as much as possible here for the Jinx. Hans is getting really, really powerful, and they're not able to make any headway in these side lanes whatsoever. Sure, Danny's getting a decent amount of farm here in mid, but he's just not going to have that same level of threat, I think, that this Jinx is, you know, with his massive front line. And TL's ability to choose their fights, that is the key difference.
Yeah.
EG doesn't really get to pick when they fight. When you're playing from behind, you don't have any hard engage to actually get picks. And all TL really has to do is play around the Mega Gnar. As soon as Impact goes mini, they can take any fight they want.
And that's my problem with drafts like this, when you're coming into a matchup against a team that you have a very poor record against. Like, you do not perform well against Team Liquid as Evil Geniuses, and then not drafting any engage feels like you're making your own difficult job even that much more of a wall to climb over.
And it must just be down to comfort, you know, comfort on some of these champions. Obviously, they are taking a little bit of a different look. Their swing, I think, in this game was really the Akali Yuumi combo.
Yep.
Haven't gotten to see that showcase, but Charm does land.
Oh, inspired! He gets away from the Core JJ knockup in time to stay alive, but that's going to be flash from Lee Sin. We're talking about limited engage mechanisms. Well, there goes the opportunity for a flash kick for the next 5 minutes. Danny's down to half HP. Tier 1 turret falls over. Jinx gets a little excited, and Danny gets a little bit low. Evil Geniuses take another L here in the mid lane. Bwipo goes for the knockup onto Jojo, but he's not going to find that one. Jojo returns a little bit of damage, but Akali ain't going up first born anytime soon. Bjergsen comes in. Charm's not going to find him, but Everfrost does. Jojo's still trying to run away, uses the E for another escape mechanism. He's trying to get out of town, but Bjergsen runs this city, and that's another kill for TL.
They get another kill, at least on top side, though. Impact is pushing the base. It was a long chase down there, committing a lot to it. Won't be able to get that tower just yet. And Hans does collect the dragon, so they grab another dragon here. They get another kill. 2K gold lead has remained pretty stable over the last 5-10 minutes here for TL in a really good spot. Second item does come through here for Jojo, so he's got that working for him. And Moonstone now finally completed there for Vulcan. So he is going to be starting to get, you know, a lot stronger here. Has maxed out the heal, stopped on 4 points Q. Yep. Likely going to start going into the W perhaps from here, where you can start to get that bonus AP. That is going to be such a big deal because it's the flat bonus AP plus a percentage amp. And that's something that I think a lot of people forget about with the Yuumi. That is really going to start to ramp up what Jojo can do in these fights.
Jojo just now getting that Void Staff completed. That's going to mean a lot, combining that with the hit from the AP. But Team Liquid on Baron, man.
EG doesn't even know.
EG, you're going to have to do something about it. A Baron at 23 minutes is not going to make this game more manageable. Not in any way, shape, or form. Impact is there first, but it's down to 2,000. Jojo's coming around from behind, but the smite is already done. They're firing off the Yuumi ulti. They're going to lock down the enemy AD carry. Han Sama's been found, but he flashes away. It's Jojo first to die. And the evil geniuses are about to be hurting. Impact tries to get out. He and Vulcan remain, but that is it. Is a 2-for-3 trade. Team Liquid gets the Baron, and they win the fight.
Yeah, Bjergsen hunting here, looking for the charm. Not going to be able to find it. Santorin on the wraparound here has Zaya's body, but it's just going to be the push for the tower. a lot closer fight than I thought, as Danny showcasing the pullback there. Erased Hans off the map. They're looking for the dive.
Oh, the Everfrost just barely missing out there on the route on impact at maximum range. He's staying alive. The Yuumi trying to protect him. Team Liquid is going to take that top lane tier 1 finally. The gold lead now exploding to 5,000.
5,000. Their upgrades are coming through here as well now. Bjergsen with the upgrade as well on their AD carry. So they rush down the Baron here, but it's all about Jojo. Jojo is tracked by the pink ward on that top side. They can see him on the flank and track Bjergsen here now in this fight. The charm he lands onto Jojo makes all the difference. RN, immediate charm there over onto him, and he just gets burst down right away. With Jojo dying so quickly, wasn't able to really get much done in that fight, not able to kind of find the safety of the Shroud. And with him falling, their chances in that fight really did drop as well.
Man, things are tough for Evil Geniuses now. Damage in the last fight. You can see Danny did a good job doing everything that he could, over 3,000 damage dealt. But when Jojo just gets exploded at the start of the fight and doesn't deal any more than 400, it's not a good look. Jojo now trying to find a kill on Santorin, but again, having a Hex Drinker can sometimes make the difference in keeping you alive, and Jojo's got to back away now. No Akali ulti is a green light for TL to do whatever they want.
Absolutely, and the IE is completed now for Hans. He has the upgraded Ornn item. He has his 3rd item in. They are just so ridiculously strong. And yeah, Danny got a lot of damage down, but the reality is you have to actually get a lot more damage out in a fight to win against TL, because they have a very beefy front line. You have to get through Kench. You have to get through Ornn. So you're going to need to put out massive amounts of damage to be able to do that.
Ornn has 4,500 health. Like,
that's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know how getting through that's going to work out for anybody, but I don't imagine it's going to go too well. Now let's see how much more Team Liquid can get out of this Baron. They've got plenty of guys here in the mid lane at the tier 2. Bjergsen separated from the rest of the team, but the other 4 remain together. Bjergsen gonna find Inspired there in his own jungle, steal away that large wolf from the camp. Inspired's gonna be forced back now too as the tier 2 falls. Whippo continuing to look for more, and they get the ulti out of the Xayah. Very important team fighting tool. Inspired goes in, he goes for a kick, but he ain't gonna get anything. Core JJ ready with the save. Impact has to jump back out. When EG tries to make a move, they're just too far behind and it's not working. Jojo now continuing the chase, trying to find a little bit more. Core with the Abyssal Voyage over the wall, but Jojo is on the hunt. The Yuumi missile's not gonna find the target.
They gotta
Team
chase.
Liquid trying to disengage. Jojo wants to go in, but Jojo goes down. Vulcan gets away, or at least tries to do something to help, but it ain't gonna matter. He finds his way over to Danny, but Jojo's assassination is foiled.
It's the charm again from Bjergsen, charming up Jojo as he tries to go in there. EG had to go for some sort of a desperation play, try to get the chase down, try to get an ace, get some control on the map, but they're not able to get anything. Core slinks away a low health bar there. TL reset. They're going to be here for the Dragon even. Jojo will still be down, so it should be soul point for free here for TL. Not much chance of a contest on this one. It is getting slimmer and slimmer, the chances. TL, picking up the luxury items that they need to guarantee this win. GA is through for Santorin as well. That's going to be a lot of safety, and it's going to be a BT 4th for Hans, just making sure that he cannot get poked out, that he cannot get burst down.
I don't really see a world where EG wins this one without a massive TL throw at this point. They're just so far ahead. So for EG, I would hope that they're thinking about what went wrong, what they need to change. Like, this is one of the differences between playoffs and regular season. It's best of 5, it's not best of 1. You've got to be able to make those adaptations and make those changes mid-series. And I think those changes are going to have to start in the draft and getting themselves more of an ability to say, no, we fight here, we fight now. Because this whole game, EG's felt like a spectator for their own champions.
Absolutely, and that might require them, to even just have a different pick order, right? Pick support earlier, try to grab something, for Vulcan. We saw all those bans kind of thrown towards him. The Nautilus, Leona, Rakan, all banned out against Vulcan. If you wait till late in the draft, TL can just rinse and repeat on that sort of a strategy. He is kind of their big playmaker. In fact, has not been playing a lot of tanks this year whatsoever. So it really is kind of down to Vulcan to be there engaged. He's the guy, and it may force them to really rethink some of these priorities.
And Team Liquid's playing this very safe. They're waiting for this next Baron. There's 30 seconds on that one. They're not giving themselves any sort of a chance to throw here. Now Bjergsen's joining back up with the rest of them here in mid, and Bwipo's decided it's time to go. They force out the ulti. That's kind of the trade that we're seeing get made over and over and over again. Is Bwipo sacrifices his ult, it demands Danny's ult in turn, and it fizzles out.
And I mean, the biggest thing here is that you trade out that ultimate, and now Danny cannot play aggressive in a team fight, right? You need your ultimate on Xayah to be able to get aggressive, otherwise you can get easily picked off by someone like Bjergsen or Santorin getting aggressive on you. So it forces Danny to play very passive, and EG needs him to be aggressive. EG needs him to be an X factor, but you just can't. When rinse and repeat, Bwipo is making the smart play, forcing that ulti out. Again, they are pushing on bot side. They do take a tower down there on this split push, but now TL can start up the Baron here, potentially try to draw out that TP from JoJo, and maybe even look for the turn.
Bwipo takes a little bit of punishment here as Evil Geniuses are able to push forward, clear out some of the TL vision, but it is TL who had removed the wards from EG in the Baron pit. EG does not want to give away this next one. I think you'd rather YOLO a fight at Baron than let them have the Baron and just take the rest of the map. It just feels completely doomed at that point.
Yeah.
So EG is trying very hard to keep eyes on this, trying very hard to have some sort of a position to play around here in the topside river, but Team Liquid knows what they want to do in this game.
Absolutely. And JoJo did complete the Zonias off of his last base. He got the objective bounty off the bot lane tier 1. So he grabs up the Zonias. That's going to allow him to play a little bit more aggressive here potentially. But he's got to be able to avoid these charms, because in every critical fight, Bjergsen has hit him with the charm and he's just died straight up getting burst down. So he's got to be so careful about tracking that spell. That has been the one that is getting him every single time from TL. If you can use the Zonias, avoid that charm, maybe you can make something happen. You know, if you are grouped up there with Vulcan, you get in the Shroud, you have the Yuumi ulti coming down, you start to really ramp up that damage. That is your hope for EG. And TL just playing calm, collected. This is very much the style that they have played in the past that did win them, you know, all of those champions back to back to back to back to back.
Yep. And hey, look at the Bloodthirster completed now for Hans Sama, itemizing against the Akali one-shot, itemizing against the dive, giving himself that extra resistance to burst. We've got upgraded mythics on everybody now. You just now saw the icon change, that little orange thing appearing in the bottom right of the support mythic item for Core JJ. That means all 5 players have the enhanced Ornn power on the side of Team Liquid, so there's even more that's not seen in the gold lead. And now they're going right back over to the Baron. Remember, after this, if they get this Baron, the Soul is in 1 minute, and they'll be in a prime position to take that as well. EG trying to move in, but the Baron is already being burned so quickly. Inspired wants to go in, but it's already done. Bwipo gonna throw the Ornn Horn over. Inspired is in the pit, but he doesn't want to be there. Vulcan's gonna be killed off next. The rest of TL's just able to keep EG at bay. Santorin looking to reset. He's playing Akali better than JoJo was. Triple kill over to Santorin. Impact can't do a thing. And TL take the Baron and mop him up.
It's a quadra kill for Santorin, popping off in game number 1. And that should do it. TL on the death march here. Absolute domination.
Evil Geniuses tried, but Team Liquid had the answer all the way back in draft. It never really seemed like a concern for them the whole game. And off the back of that Baron fight, Team Liquid takes it to the Nexus. And Team Liquid takes the first game in our series.
Really impressive stuff here from TL. And as much as Santorin downplays how hard it is to do the Viego mechanics, you know, playing all these different champions, we were interviewing him last week about it. He's like, it's nothing that hard, you know, it looks cooler than it is. Man, he is so good on the Viego and so quick to play out these situations optimally. You know, even in that final fight, taking the Akali body, finding the Flash E onto Danny there, you know, pushing him out of the fight as well. You know, it's just really quick thinking from him, picking up a quadra kill in those final moments. Really, really impressive from TL. They were just absolutely in control start to finish in that one.
Yeah.
You know, you said it. It never felt like they were outside of the comfort zone. EG have got to try to flip the script. You've got to show us something different here. You can't come in and just expect to outlane TL, to get these massive leads in the early game. You're not going to be able to do it. They're too solid of a team across the map. So I want to see EG get aggressive. I want to see them, you know, draft the ability to create action on their own terms, multiple forms of engage, find fights where TL are not ready for them and try to use that. Or the other option is just draft full late game and try to match them in 5v5, because that is another option that you
truly
can
play
do.
the scaling matchup.
Exactly,
right?
and say, hey, we're going to just play lane slow like you, and we're going to go, all right, you want to go Jinx? Well, we're going to go, scaling ADC as well. We're going to go Victor. We're going to go Orianna and just try to go late in 5v5, because what they're doing isn't working.
Yeah, Team Liquid definitely had that